today, that would, the rule of thumb of 13 would be perfect because today the actual is 17.
Right.
So the rule of thumb 13 is touchdown every day, I'd say.
All right. So why'd you holler at me?
Well, I can help myself. I took a pill, behaves
Good.
mostly, the best I can. No, that's just a change of operator.
That's my next door neighbor.
Yeah, I knew it was. I've seen that.
Yeah, he's helping Norm a little bit. I don't know their business relationship, but Terry Berry and Hadley are out. They're done. And so Norm's trying to.
I don't want to kick it. I just want to take it for granted. Yeah. I don't want to kick it.
He brings nothing. So he's got.
So you wouldn't mind that at all?
A little bit, just a little seed money, and he's paying a light bill out of cash register. So I hope it works out for him. But you know, it just usually doesn't.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mayor Grimminger?
Here.
Alderwoman Codwell?
Here.
Alderman Couch?
Here.
Alderman John Stupi? Alderman Jokers?
Here.
Alderman Hook?
Here for the first time in a long time. It's okay.
Alderman Donnie Stupi? Alderman Prince?
Here.
Alderman Rozika?
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Approve the agenda.
Approve. Second.
It don't matter.
Whatever. Whatever. Be good.
All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Okay, personal appearances. Bob Mueller will address the board concerning the Wildlife Refuge Task Force.
Thank you. I'm here, let me give my address. 163 Merchant, but I'm really here representing what we call the Wildlife Refuge and Public Access Task Force. Several months ago, we started doing 3 initiatives around the area. One of them was beautification, kind of revitalizing the beautification of the ferry landing, transportation, and then how can we use the levee for the enjoyment of our citizens and others. And so we formed a task force. Sandra Cabot's on it, Martin Toma's on it, myself, John Carroll, who's here. John is a recent resident of St. Genevieve. He used to be the director of Tower Grove Park and the director of all state parks at one time, so he brings a lot. Vern Bowman represents Levee District 3, and we have some ad hoc members from National Fish and Wildlife and also Missouri Department of Conservation. I think in your package you have a thing called our vision and our goals. I'm not going to go over that in detail, but we got together and decided what are we all after here? What do we want to accomplish with this project? And as we considered it, we also wanted to bring in phase 4 of the levee project, which had recreational and educational aspects to it. We wanted to bring in the fact that we now have a North Main hiking, biking trail, and how can we make or provide access to the river instead of the river coming to see us all the time. We'd like to have our local residents go see the river. And so we started talking about some of the things we could do both inside and outside the levee on city-owned property. I guess it's actually leased to the Levee District 3 legally, but the city actually owns it. And so one of the things that we've been considering is enhancing the vegetation. We really wouldn't do anything outside the levee. That's kind of self-populating kind of trees and stuff, but inside the levee, trying to plant some hardwood trees that are good for soil that's wet some of the time. And so we'll be talking about that down the road. We want to kind of, as we get through this, honor some of our history. John James Audubon was here for a short period of time as a merchant, and I think we really need to play it up a lot more. I was recently at a town in Louisiana called St. Francisville, which is a town of 2,000. He was there for just 3.5 months. He was here for a month and a half, and they do Audubon, Audubon, Audubon. And there's a lake outside the levee, and we'd like to eventually call that Lake Audubon. And there's a slough that runs down through there, and we'd like to name that eventually after another famous ornithologist. I had to figure out how to spell that. It's a birder. After Stormy Crawford, who has really made his mark in the birding world also. Some of the other things that we talked about is to develop viewing areas and access to the river. From the levee, unfortunately, there's a lot of trees there. We may want to cut a couple of small viewing paths so people could stand on the levee and see it. Have eventually river access down in that bottom land outside the levee for fishing, and a wildlife viewing platform. I'm going to, Sandra, do you want to hand this out? So just pass that out. But one of the things that we considered is to make sure we had public enjoyment of the area and educational aspects, and so eventually we would plan to do interpretive signing. One of the things I was looking at, there's 454 bird species that either live in Missouri year-round or come through here. And our friends across the river in the Southern Illinois Audubon Society put together a birding booklet, and 279 of those 454 are in the mid-Mississippi Valley along our rivers. So we have a wonderful opportunity. That map that you can see there, you can see some parking areas, you can see an overlook, some paths. And so those are the things that we're considering right now. We're not here tonight to ask you for a decision. We still got a lot of work to do in terms of estimates on what it's going to cost, where we're going to get the money. And also, we're not going to look at just the initial cost, we're going to look at what it's going to take to maintain it. And some of the people we're going to talk to down in New Madrid, they have an area outside their levee on their river walk. At Arrow Rock's got a very nice one also that floods periodically. And probably one that we really need to talk to is the new confluence park that's up at the confluence of the Mississippi and the Missouri. That floods every year and gets a lot of debris. So we want to find out what they did, how did they do that. We've identified some public partners. Obviously, the City of St. Genevieve and Levee District 3 has to be very key in this. The Corps of Engineers, since they had some things that had to do with the levee. U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and the Missouri Department of Conservation. And I have to tell you, we've had some very, very good help from both of those, the federal agency and the state agency, as we work through this project. Potential partners include the Audubon Society. There's one over in Farmington, and I know John's made contact with them. Ducks Unlimited, local corporations, are ones that we're going to be talking to as we come down the road. When it comes time to lay some numbers on you and some of the agreements that we may sign, cooperative agreements with like Fish and Wildlife, we'll come back to you on that. We want your input during this process, and that's kind of why we're here today, is to kind of throw this out on the table that this is something we've been working on. I know that Dan Kriegler of Fish and Wildlife would like to come to a working session. I think it's on June 23rd, and he wants to talk about their interest in the project and also possible funding sources. And we've talked with both the feds and the state about funding in this project. So that's kind of a quick overview. I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have.
I would say so. Run with it. I hope I'm speaking for the board, but go.
I think
We need this.
Yeah.
this project, proposed project, checks off a lot of boxes. I mean, every day I hear people in town, me too, saying that we don't really have a very good place to access and view the river, right? So if you look at that map, one parking area in particular on the river's edge would check that box, you know, where we could do it the way we wanted to. It checks a box on education. The education opportunities for our school children in our school district, in our county, but also in surrounding counties. to come down and go to the viewing stations and learn a little bit more about wildlife in our area. It just is boy, this is a real opportunity here. You know, we've got a core group of people trying to own the project, right? So I think as a board, we should throw our full support behind this project so that the people that own it can keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the more immediate needs is a little bit of money to get some engineering work done. You can't exactly go to other funding sources and say, this is our idea.
Well, no, wait,
If-
you good, hold on. Do we need that, Bob?
Well, we're gonna have to do some engineering to give you the kinds of estimates that you're gonna need.
Okay.
And for us to.
As we move into the budgeting process,
Okay.
we'll have the opportunity to understand exactly how much that costs, and it's not very much. But if we don't do that, then we will be holding the whole thing up.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
This is a legitimate use of funds that are set aside for the levy.
That was the next comment.
Yeah.
How do we access those funds?
Saturday,
Right, check,
They're there.
pretty much.
touchdown.
Well, again, we want to keep you all informed as to where we're headed on this thing, what the pros and cons are, and especially what downstream payments are cost are
This is
considered.
neat.
Bob, I think this is such a good thing. I really do. This is great. You know, like I said, let's run it. Let's get this done.
Like I said, I'm glad we have the levy so the river doesn't come visit us all the time. We'd rather go visit it.
So Bob, if we look at this, the pamphlet that was in our package, and we look kind of up and down the Missouri side of the river, St. Genevieve County, and Mr. Carroll may help us with this as well, doesn't have any federal land dedicated to wildlife refuge along the river?
Right, there's a thing called the Mid-Mississippi National Wildlife Refuge, and they have areas set aside from, north of Cape Girardeau, all the way up into Jefferson County, and somewhere on the eastern side, somewhere on our side, there's one, Horse Island down there, Crane Island, and then there's one up near Hillsborough. We don't want to be, we first started looking at, should we be a national refuge? And we said, no, we don't want to do that. We want to control it ourselves.
Absolutely.
And so we can do that. We can designate it as a wildlife refuge. You can't shoot in the city limits now without permission, so there's really not much else we have to do about that. So I think it's an opportunity to get us on the map too, so that when people come to the area, or even our residents want to get out and look at things.
Yeah.
I was looking, there was a 2011 study by the National Fish and Wildlife that birders spend, I think, $4.2 billion a year on food, and about $2.1 billion just on lodging. It's a big deal. And so, but I mean, I think this just for our people here, the things you've done with the hiking, biking trails, we need to get people out walking. I need to get out walking, we all do. We need to provide those
Turns
opportunities.
on my ass bad enough.
So,
Don't tell it.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Great idea.
well, I just worked about it.
As he said, someone from Fish and Wildlife plan on being here at the next board meeting to talk about their part. Okay, Martin.
Okay, we had a semi-final inspection of the Main Street Trail project, and I call it semi-final. Usually it's a final inspection unless they find something. In this case, they did find something. There's a drainage culvert at the west or south end of property that Lloyda owns. It's a rental property.
Where is that?
You know where Frank Meyer's house is? It's the next house towards downtown. Yeah. And it's about a 4-foot drop into this drainage hole, and it's unprotected. So the state's going to process a change, and the project is coming in under budget, so it doesn't require anything but just processing paperwork in order to get that guardrail put in.
I will be the first one to say I probably missed something completely. But when we were putting this hiking trail up there, I thought we were stopping at the floodgates.
Stop before the floodgate and resume it
After.
after the floodgate,
Why did we resume it after the floodgate?
to give you access, walking access all the way down to the levee, to the landing.
All right.
There's supposed to be, and maybe that's our responsibility, put a stripe on the road.
No, they eliminated
They
it.
eliminate it? Okay.
Originally, it was designed to go through the floodgate, but because of the constraints of the abutments, they
Right.
couldn't get the prescribed width, and so they decided, this was like 2 years after the original design, I guess, to eliminate that section, but not to eliminate the trail out to the landing. So the sign says trail ends here, and
It keeps going.
New trails.
whichever direction you're coming in. Now, I think, and we can discuss this, I kind of have mixed emotions about it, whether we also have resumes in so many feet, so people who are walking see
I
it.
don't know why we didn't end the trail right there,
Pardon?
at the floodgates. Why did we not end the
Well-
trail right there?
The idea of the whole thing, and I wasn't here, so I'm speaking about people's decisions that preceded me, was to provide access to the landing and originally beautification of the landing site, which, as you know, also got eliminated.
The original concept was the hiking, biking trail, 10-foot wide asphalt, right? Went all the way from the bridge where it starts now to the ferry landing. That was the original concept. And ran into a lot of trouble around the levee gates. And
In the railroad.
to qualify, in the railroad, to qualify for the federal funding, it kind of had to be the way it is. And that's kind of how it ended. It certainly isn't a perfect project, and I wish it was different, but we shouldn't lose the scope of, we got a real bargain on that sidewalk. I mean, what the citizens of St. Genevieve actually contributed wasn't very much for the total cost, so.
And hopefully one day, if we live that long, there could be a ramp right from the trail there to go up over the floodgate onto this trail on top of the levee. I mean, that's kind of the thought of extending it, and then you come down the levee and end up at the end of Market Street and come back into town, is if the Corps will approve their part of it, so we'll see.
All right, the only question I had.
Okay, the flood damage payments are still kind of in flux. We received paperwork from SEMA today, and they've already deposited their $2,500. So for the May 2015 event, so the federal share should be closely after that, which would be another $22,000. The Community Foundation full board has considered the tree replacement project, and they have asked me to come up with a more detailed description of actually what we're going to do. I sent them the plan that was put together, but they really want to know which trees where, so we'll work that plan out and submit it to them. You've all read about the National Historic, the legislation that was proposed for the National Historic Site. A lot of effort, a lot of people in contacting legislators to ask them to get that changed to a National Historic Park was done. And I've inserted here the description of what a National Historic Park is, and if you just read that language, you'll see that's really what is being proposed for St. Genevieve, and it's more appropriate that it be named what it is. And I think we have indication from the staff that's a possibility. They're not rejecting it, they're going to pursue it. No commitment's been made to my knowledge. And then I've included a report of the work that's been going on replacing the street lights with LED. We got a pretty good number of them up now. I haven't heard any particular comments, except some conversations I've had with Board of Aldermen members. Does anybody have any reason that we shouldn't continue?
I think it's great.
Okay.
We need to keep moving forward.
Okay.
It's a street light, keep going.
Yeah.
Who cares?
That's all.
Did you check with the police?
Well, I asked Eric to talk to his folks about it, and Eric's here. You want to come up and report?
I've had some concern that the lights aren't as bright as what was there before, that it's more focused beam. I've checked with most of my officers, they seem to be fine. Not all of them have been exposed to the night shift since they've been installed. I've worked a few night shifts myself. I certainly think they're adequate, so.
And you don't get, because the lens is directed and all the light goes down, you don't get that light shooting out the sides, which kind of creates there was more overlap, I think.
Right.
I think it's probably well above any standard for safety.
I thought it looked brighter to me though, when I'm in the chapel and I look this way and come home there, it seemed like it's.
I absolutely never noticed there was a difference.
I didn't either.
Just put the streetlights in, let's go.
Okay.
I thought the same thing. I've never noticed anything else. Go for it. Eric, you might as well stay up there. You're up there.
I'm finished.
Did they get, excuse me, we had the camera, did they get that installed?
No. It goes up there,
And it's not,
not installed.
okay. Because I was looking for committee reports on the agenda, I didn't see it.
Don't even know what you're talking
I'd
about.
bring it up now.
What camera we?
This camera no longer functions, so if you,
It's kind of pointing over that way.
they're only able to get that camera for the meeting, and it's a little awkward depending on, like, to get the back of Eric's head.
Nobody needs to see that.
That camera catches me.
The camera's been purchased, and now it needs to be installed, the replacement camera.
You know, that more
And they're waiting for an electrician to become available to do it. Failing that, we may just have to get a ladder and get up there and do it. I'm not sure how hard it is.
Oh, I could do that.
Okay.
Rick, did you?
I think you just volunteered.
Yeah, I know all about that. Yeah, I
It's
can
typically
do
the
that.
person that's not here that volunteers for that, isn't it?
Police do that sort of stuff. don't they?
All right, any other questions for Martin?
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Marty.
Thanks,
Hang on, Martin.
Eric?
How are you?
Good.
Hope everybody's well. At the direction of the board last meeting, I modified my staff report form to more resemble the fire department's. Notice on facility, I certainly fought back the urge to make 6 or 8 sarcastic comments about my facility, so I'm kind of proud of that. I don't have too terribly much to report. I do have a proposal later on the agenda for an additional software access for our reporting software that will allow us mules access again in the cars. We did have that for a time. We lost some hardware, and because of different patents and companies being bought out and firewalls and me not having an IT person, as you can tell, I have a lot less hair than I did when I started here, and the first time we went through the mules installation process was a lot of the result of that. So this will make things a lot easier for us and will allow us to regain mules access, so I would appreciate any support that we can get there.
On that, we were originally thought that because if we had that, our call amount would go down, which I know it did, and that was one of your arguments, I think, with our percentage of calls and our percentage of contract with the 911 with the county, but it did come back that basically no matter how many calls there are, we're still committed to the percentage of what we were committed to.
That's not necessarily true. We decided instead of reviewing that annually, we would review it every 3 years.
Okay.
And try to get a more accurate percentage of what was being used. The last time, the last budget, the numbers were actually pretty accurate as far as usage for what we were getting charged.
Okay.
I would hope that this would reduce it again. It certainly did initially.
But more than anything, it's just a safety issue where the officers have the information right at their fingertips right when they stop a car, as opposed to being at the mercy of the dispatcher.
Right.
And I mean, it's not a terrible expense, I don't think, all things considered. So I certainly think that it would be a good thing and would like to have it again. But it is something that we're going to review every 3 years and try to modify that accordingly.
Eric, I would hope that we did that every year. Why wait 3 years? I mean, maybe I'm missing the point of what you're saying. We pay a percentage of the total 911 bill for St. Genevieve County, St. Genevieve City, St. Francis County.
The ambulance district.
Oh, and the ambulance.
But it's really kind of messed up, and I know we've discussed it, and it's a source of aggravation for me, but we don't negotiate with St. Francis County. Our vendor essentially is St. Genevieve County. So St. Genevieve County does all the negotiation with St. Francis County.
Well,
they are on a 3-year contract, so that's why we set it at the 3 years. Because if it changes mid-contract and our numbers go down or our numbers go up.
I'm going to equate this to the Special Roads District. We're paying more than our share on the Special Roads District. We don't get much back. We don't get anything back sometimes. How are we, is it set up where we pay our share on 911, or it is the way it is because everybody's got to pay this much?
We pay a percentage. We don't pay the largest percentage.
Do you think it's, and if you tell me your opinion, I'm going to be happy either way. Do you feel like we're getting a pretty decent part of the deal, or are we paying more than we should?
I don't want to not answer your question, but when we went over there, we saved a considerable amount of money from what we were paying here. Our service, in my opinion, improved in a lot of ways. It decreased in a couple ways, but overall, we were real happy with service. St. Francis County now has passed a sales tax of their own, and they don't need our money anymore. So I think the level of, no, it's not, because the level of service that we've gotten, I think, is kind of diminished some because they don't care. They needed us before. They don't need us now.
I see.
Again, that's the opinion of Eric Bennett with no public affiliation. But I think that the service has decreased some. But aside from putting in our own facility, which is just too cost prohibitive, just salaries would be more than we're paying now, and that's not including any of the equipment or anything. So I would love to see another system or at least an opportunity to negotiate for something. But I've racked my brain, and we've discussed it 100 times with my officers, and I've got some officers that are very tech savvy, and it's just not cost effective for us.
Something that sort of ties with all this, in the last few weeks, I've had several people tell me of incidents where they've called, they talk to dispatch, and they need assistance, whether it's police, whatever. And because we all live here, we know where the tree dump is. We know where St. Jen Ford is, whatever. So they tell them that, and they go, well, we need an address. And they go, well, we don't have an address. So then they sort of dismiss it. Well, unless you can give me an address, I can't send somebody there. So how do there are places around where the addresses aren't necessarily visible. How do we get around that so that nobody falls through the cracks?
Typically, they would ask for an officer to call them.
Oh, okay.
Just make it a phone call where you could call. And
again, these are things people are telling me.
And I've heard the complaints too.
Yeah, I haven't experienced it personally.
And I get calls frequently from dispatch saying, hey, somebody called in for this place. We don't have an address for it. Can you help us get an address?
Well,
it's constantly being updated.
Ever since 911 became a thing, you've had to give an address. So all of us that used to grew up or lived in rural areas, our Davidson Road turned into a road number. So anybody that picks up the phone to call 911 doesn't realize they need an address. They need an address, or it's going to hamper.
I agree with that. I mean, there are places like the tree dump. What's the address of the tree dump?
Well, it's Davidson Road. It's the very west end of Davidson Road. Division Road. I don't know where Davidson came from the first time, let alone the second time.
Do an intersection.
Right. Well, that's what I suggested.
But there's some.
The other one was over there on 61. I said, well, all they had to do was tell them
just give them
61 and Rozier Street.
Or ask for an officer to call, or but some of that is going to be on the dispatcher. They have some very experienced dispatchers, and they have some newer dispatchers, just like any other field. And, you know.
I just wanted to hear your thoughts, because I know what
I know that I get calls frequently saying, hey, we got this, and we don't have it at the common place, can you help us out and give us, so they are constantly monitoring
If
that.
they're going the extra mile, then
Yeah.
that's all we can do.
But I hate to see, like, in the instance that I know you're talking about, where it was just basically like, and then pass, okay, well, then I guess we're not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
So that's frustrating, and we've talked to
What's the sign
dispatch
say?
about
Walk
that.
and don't walk.
Right, okay, thank you.
If you get the license to do the meals, do you have to do that per car, or is it like just for the department, you put in as many cars?
This is, yeah, it's for the department. It's just in addition to the system that we already have in our car, it's just another module that will interface with the mule system. So it's the same system, and it's a proprietary system, so it's not something that we can go bid to do this interface, because it's a part of our ITI system.
Right, okay.
Okay, at the first page, the back of the first page. During my employment with the City of St. Joe, we have undergone 3 UCR audits performed by the Missouri State Highway Patrol. Last occurred on May 6th. For the 3rd time, we have scored 100 in our reporting accuracy and compliance. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Well done.
Good job.
Good job.
Appreciate it. There's a push now to go, it's more technical, but to go to a more incident-based reporting than summary-based, so I'm attending a class on that in a couple of weeks that will, same information, but it makes it more specific to an incident than
After I saw you this morning, did you have our session in, did you have any left?
No.
Okay.
I don't know if I can ask it. I guess I will, and if you don't like it, then you can't, or you can say no, but if we could do 2 readings on that, if you guys are in agreement and it's appropriate. We've been without meals for an extended time. If not, we've been without, and we can do without for a couple more weeks, but if it's appropriate, I would appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you. Any
Thank
questions?
you.
Thank you. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
David?
Good evening. My report's going to be a lot more boring than his. We've been mowing a lot. Pretty well. Yeah, all the time it rained, we did a lot of work on the vehicles. We got the old dump trucks ready to be marked surplus and get rid of at any time, so they're ready to go.
Has there been any vandalism at the restrooms?
At the restrooms, not that I've heard of. Nobody said anything. We did a major cleanup on them, but nobody said anything about, I mean, a lot of times they won't tell me if somebody threw stuff on walls or anything. So.
Do you have what's the status of the dump truck?
The status of the dump trucks are, he should have them ready by tomorrow, and they're going through everything, and then when they're ready, he should call probably in the middle of next week, he said, so.
David, everybody's got their CDL line.
Everybody's got their CDLs, yep.
That'll take some pressure off you on it.
Yes, it will, especially in the wintertime.
Yeah, that's a very big deal. On the same account, I was talking to Steve Wilson with the Alliance earlier in the week, and he was talking about all their employees receiving CPR, first aid, and AED training. We need to make a stand as a board to determine what level of first aid, CPR, and AED training our city employees should have. I would say, and be my recommendation, that every city employee get trained and maintain training for CPR, first aid, and AED. Every company that I know of requires this from their employees. And you pay them for doing it.
Can I sound stupid?
No.
What is AED?
It's an automated electronic defibrillator, external defibrillator. It's just going to save me and you. That's what it's going to do, and I want everybody to know how to use it.
I already got one in my chest.
I mean, honestly, that's the truth. None of us are getting a day younger. I think as a board, we should give guidance to the city administrator on our feelings for first aid, CPR, and AED training. I'm making my feelings known. I think there should be a requirement, and you pay the employees just like you do with any other training.
The AED
police department has AEDs, we have an AED, in City Hall, we have an AED in the visitor center, which are kind of the public access area.
Yeah.
But is anybody trained on that?
Yes, and all the staff's trained,
All the staff is trained?
yeah.
All
Except
all
for
your people are
Sanders
trained?
got some part-timers who.
No, and actually,
Those
Mr. Couch has
AEDs
to
now
talk with me.
are supposed to be
No,
designed that
please
You don't have it.
you don't have to know
took
how to do
your
any
advice
of
in consideration, but what you gotta understand is I still got new people. I'm waiting to make sure we keep them all because there's no sense in trying to.
No, David.
There's no sense trying to train
I
somebody
understand,
if they
Dave.
don't stay.
I understand, but this board needs to make a decision to say you have 10 days, 30 days, 90 days. I don't even care what it is, as long as, actually, I do care what it is. It should be done before they're hired. It should be done during their probationary time period.
That's good.
And we set the training up, send them to the training. This is not unique. This is not extra. This is kind of normal. Every business, it kind of just does this because it's the right thing to do. And your guys, in particularly, you're out every day and you see people in the park and you see a lot of elderly folks walking, for our staff to have that. Now, when our employees are trained, they have the option of using that training, right? They don't have to go help
Yeah,
somebody.
you're right. You can't make.
So we can make them get trained.
Yeah.
But we can't make them go and give somebody CPR. You just can't do that, but,
That's easy enough to do. $20 a person, and we're gonna hold the class. It's a 3-hour class.
hold the class and make it part of the new hire package, get people trained up. This is some very basic stuff that's really, really important.
Actually, I asked Gary to talk to Kenny Steiger about, because, he gave CPR classes, so I mean, we've already kind of got the ball rolling.
And you mentioned that to me the other day, that's why I brought it up.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're already on
Yeah,
it, but I just wanted to give you some guidance from the board.
He used to, so, I mean, I
It's
think
not,
he still
the
does.
ambulance district and the health department. all have
Ambulance
training.
District, Health Department, the Red Cross and the American Heart Association, probably SEMO and every other community college in the neighborhood. It's not hard, there's private trainers, not hard to get it done.
Actually, there's, I think the health department's putting one on next week or week after. It's like in the evening also.
I think it's the CERT class, thinking about. It's a whole different.
Oh, okay.
My wife
I seen they was giving some kind of
It's the
class.
Citizens Emergency Response Team.
But I was also going to check with them to see if they'll come to us instead of us going to them, because
Oh.
it's easier to have it during the day while the employees are here than try to ask them to come back.
Listen, if we're getting the training done, we tell them what we want done. If the ambulance district can't do it, that's fine. We'll get somebody else to do it. But we should remember, we're getting this done, they should come to us because we want them to.
My wife taught school at St. Genevieve for 33 years at the school district. She took the CPR classes. They recommended that and she took them. They were mandatory. She saved a kid from choking. The kid was gonna die.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, in the cafeteria one day because he swallowed too big, and she brought him back. Now that's,
We do have one guy certified though, that's Gary, because he's firefighter. That's why we all hang around him.
Wouldn't that be a scary thing? Wouldn't that be a scary thing with your eyes looking at that?
You seen our department, do you want us giving anybody mouth to mouth?
Hey, David, while you're up there.
We ain't done yet.
Okay, but while
My
you're there,
husband's on the department.
the pond, what are we gonna do with that?
We want to do it.
We gotta do something different.
Yeah,
The fountain's not working at
Well,
all.
the fountain's working, it's just the water.
It's underwater. And when the water's low, the fountain's sticking out of the water for a foot and a half.
Yeah.
I don't care about
we're
that, I'm
planning
just
on,
worried about the algae and
We're
everything.
planning on sucking it down a little bit, but well, make sure it's done raining for a while.
Okay, is that gonna take care of the algae if we do that? It's
What we've
really
been doing,
bad.
we've been going through every once in a while, taking that orange fencing and kind of scraping it off.
Yeah.
So, but I have put some of that algae stuff in the pond.
It was really bad today.
I know, I seen that.
Bad.
Is there a way to take that pump or take the nozzle on the pump and make it where it floats, where it's still a pump might be affixed to the bottom and do some
Sure.
kind of a hose and make it float instead of it being affixed, or you're gonna face this every time the water's up?
We're gonna have to face it, I mean, unless we take, drain the pond again and get down and get to it, because there's no way we
No way to get to it.
It just didn't
Unless we
end
have
up
some
being
scuba
very
gear.
good.
None of us qualified for that.
Maybe when it's slow, if you cut the pipe off, put a fitting on it,
Put a
and some kind of
flexible hose
flexible hose on it, and then had it floating instead of a fixed height.
I would think if you had a flexible hose, it'd be
I-
going all over.
Why don't we just call
No,
somebody that
not
does
real
this and
flexible,
have them
just so
come
it
do
can go
it?
up and down with the,
Do what?
The fountain people, call a fountain person wherever they sell the floating fountains and have them come do this. I mean, we did it, and it didn't work out very well.
Well, the first thing I'm gonna say is we don't have a big enough fountain.
Do what, sir?
Is it actually underwater? or
It's
is it on top
underwater,
of the
yeah.
bottom of it?
The pump is on the bottom, and then we have PVC pipe up, and then with the park board, we had to go with them, because, we just made it ourselves. We drilled holes in it, and then they didn't like the thing, so we ended up drilling more holes in it, and then making like a fleur-de-lis or something, so.
The only time it's gonna function properly and look right is when the water's just exactly right.
Just exactly right.
And so we gotta figure something out to try to make it.
Dave, how much is that, the head right now, how much is underwater?
Probably about 8 to 10 inches.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta remember, we had a lot of rain, so.
Yeah.
I mean, we can pump it down, but right now, we've got that summer help that's up in the park, and they're cleaning around the Girl Scout shack.
For the cost for us to do the pumping it down repeatedly,
Yeah.
we need to just fix it. And we're gonna be well money ahead to just fix it.
Right.
Well, at what cost? It might be too costly too.
Well, the park,
find out what it
the
is.
park fund,
Yeah.
the park board hasn't spent hardly any of their discretionary spending for this year, and they're coming up on the end of the year. It'd be a good place for them to spend some of their money. I mean, we tried it the cheap way, and it didn't work. So now we gotta try it the right way.
oh, let's,
Boy, you're up there.
let's at least check it out, maybe we get the same pump. but-
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Maybe it's just that,
How those people working out that are cleaning up around the Girl Scout shop?
I
Nice.
I think the pond's gonna be okay, but we're gonna have to drain it in order to, get to the pump, we'll have to drain the whole pond.
He's avoiding the question.
Yeah, you're avoiding the question.
Oh, did you ask me a question? I'm sorry. They're doing what they're doing, yeah.
Okay, is that good?
For the kids, it's gonna be a learning experience,
Okay. How much longer are they gonna be here?
5 more weeks,
They work how many days a week?
5 days a week. Except Friday, they end up, have class on Fridays, 4 hours a day.
You're kind of smiling, there's something there you're not telling.
Oh, I'm happy.
Okay.
anytime you give volunteer help like that, you can't count on them to be as efficient as, our staff would be.
That's understandable.
So their efficiently level, fluctuates.
There are some limitations that we weren't made aware of when we agreed to do it, like transportation. They can't, we have to take them from one site to another, which was not part of what we understood was going to
Are
happen.
these kids from St. Genevieve?
Yeah.
They are.
And they have to be
that's good.
supervised.
Okay, all right.
So they have one supervisor there, so if we split them up, we have to have somebody supervising wherever we take them.
Yeah, I've noticed we had a city truck there quite
Yeah.
a few days, so.
My people have to be there to basically tell them, or to cut the brush down so they can haul it away.
Okay.
Or they can't even haul it away, they're just putting it on a popper now.
Okay.
How many you got?
Want to add
6.
to what Mr. Couch was talking about, Narcan. How many certified on that? Narcan, that for the drug overdose?
That would be,
That has to be a paramedic, right?
Yeah.
No, city
No?
police, anybody.
Oh, really?
But do we have any officers or anybody? And if not, why not?
Well, Chief Dennis back there, should ask him.
We don't, we just haven't yet. I'll have to go with Kendall and look at that.
I mean, I think every police department around here's got officers that's got it. I think that's another thing we need to look
This is
at.
a drug for like heroin overdose?
Overdose,
Heroin
yeah.
overdose, yeah.
Yeah, since that makes pretty good sense that we ought to have it.
I would
Heroin's
think.
an epidemic
Yeah.
in our region. Seems like we want to get our police staff and our fire staff.
They probably have more of them than heart attacks right now, probably.
Good, that's real good, I think. Very important.
Who are these, summer
Who's a
help?
smart ass? You? and me
No
too.
clue.
Where'd they come from?
it's a
We
company
talked
has a
about it.
contract with the state, and they get disadvantaged kids that are assigned to them from schools and wherever they.
Just like if you were in high school, you'd be working there, John.
Yeah.
And so the idea is,
We can have people here, we don't.
We'd be working
We got
there.
our own system, and I guess we're failing at the wheel here. We ain't even, we've had somebody offer to supervise these, court-ordered supervisions, but it's all fell on deaf ears. We could have been having a lot of this a long time ago.
I agree. I think we've got to
Can I get my answer from Martin, please?
Yeah, go ahead. Wouldn't you ask this question?
It's a training program and these are relatively young kids, to teach them about the responsibilities of having a job, showing up and work on time, and how to follow orders, and it's a learning experience for them. And the guy came to us and said, you know, we've got the kids and we're going to do the training, and all we ask for you is just to give us some work for them to do. So we said, okay.
And they get paid by that group?
All we did
You
is
don't even
said,
know if they get paid, right? Oh, just curious.
I assume they get paid. I mean, it's part of learning to work,
Yeah.
learning to have value for your time. So.
Right, thank you.
As you see, I gave you some pictures of the brush site.
Yeah.
Last meeting, I told you we've had a problem, so.
What do you suppose we do about those problems? I mean, honestly, what can we do about them? Because I was down there the other day and there was that black edging.
That's on the picture. You
Okay.
can't see in black and white.
And I couldn't hardly see what it was. Yeah, and it was all over the place down there. But, I mean, I don't know what we can do other than pick it up, put it in a dumpster, and keep burning the yard waste.
Somebody's got to see them go down. I mean, I was on vacation, Gary said he gave you a license number of somebody that.
Yeah, he gave me some mail or
So,
packaging.
but that's the thing, we just need people to report it. You know, somebody sees it, so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long road down through there. You're going down through there with all that junk on there, somebody's got to see it.
I never go down there without seeing at least one other person down there any time of the day or evening.
How does the city dump play into what you're looking at? Is it gonna have to be relocated or?
No.
No. I would put trees on both sides of it.
Okay.
Which it needs anyway, I
I
think.
think we need to stop calling it the city dump.
It's the burn site.
It's the yard disposal site.
Yard disposal site.
That's why they're dumping all
Yard
that stuff
disposal
in.
site.
Seriously, I think we need to stop using that term.
That's a very, very, very
Yeah.
good point. Yeah. Yard disposal, yard waste disposal.
Yard
I mean,
waste
I say it all the time too, but yeah.
David,
I
what do you
never-
do with this stuff? Like they drop that edging off there and that stuff, you just.
We usually pick it up, throw it in our dumpster.
Yeah.
Oh, you can do.
Someone, that was a big job where all that edging came from.
It must have been.
Yeah.
Like I said, somebody's got to see it. Somebody got
That'd
to
take
know.
you a while to unload that too.
That
It's
was-
not something you just toss off
Oh, yeah.
and drive away, you know?
And actually, we did trim a lot of trees.
Unless you know you
So we
shouldn't be
can see
doing it.
through there, or
That
people
truck
can see
is
through
pretty
it.
quick.
But well, I guess we need to do some more.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the incidents I was talking about. The individual said he called, he saw it going on, and then dispatch was saying, well, we didn't have.
We don't have an address,
I
yeah.
don't have an address.
123 Dump Road.
Right, right.
But tomorrow, once we get everything set up for the French Festival, we're gonna go move all it, take all that stuff out of there. Like I say, as much as it is, we'll probably just take it straight to CWI.
I think people watching need to be made aware that if this keeps getting abused like this, they're gonna lose the privilege to have it. We're gonna lose that site. We're not gonna be able to have that
Yes.
anymore.
If, I wish I'd have brought it, but on the back of our burn permit, it's got what you can burn there. And it's vegetation, and tree limbs, that's not there. I mean, landscaping timber is not considered that, 2x4s is not considered that.
Anything-
Railroad ties,
Anything with a nail in it, pretty
yeah,
much prohibited.
basically, And the paper bags, we're not even allowed to put the yard waste bags down there, so. They've got a sign up there with almost everything on it, but apparently nobody can see that big red sign.
They can't.
No,
They can't see it. Can't read
They
it.
conveniently don't see it.
exactly.
Maybe you need a game camera or a couple of them. Take pictures.
Gotta look, they'd steal them.
We'll get Ed Millinger down there with a video camera and we'll do some yard waste shaming.
Yeah.
Put it on TV,
There
say,
you
this
go.
was in your neighbor's yard yesterday and it's not today, call us.
Anybody else, guys?
Anything else? Dave?
Dave, I think the unit guys do an outstanding job every time I see them. They're working and everybody's doing a great job, and I think that anybody that's spent any time in the park in the last year can see all the hard work. Well done.
We're trying to keep it up, and like I say, we're trying to get that Girl Scout thing visible, and, you know, I know we had this discussion on this, but the more I looked at that, it's not gonna take that much to fix that.
To what end?
Well,
You're
we have a lot
gonna
of...
have a little house down in the woods.
That could work real good for a lot of storage.
Storage? Of what?
We've
There
got,
would be no heat, there'd be no air, you can't, I mean,
we have the Genevieve trash barrels that are down there on Front Street, and every time the river comes up, they start floating.
did you notice there's a piece of tin off the roof in there?
Actually,
I just saw that today.
next Wednesday, we're getting a lift, and we're gonna do that, and Island Flags. We talked to the guy today. But yeah, water gets in down there, and them Genevieve trash barrels get all muddy, you know. That's something we can store there. I mean,
Nothing of any value, because obviously it's exposed, I agree.
well, we're gonna secure
We're gonna
it.
clean ourselves up a little bit.
I mean, we're thinking around $500. We're not gonna build another shed that size for that amount of money, but, I mean, it's up to you guys. But we can use, you know, everybody's got stuff stored at the shop down there. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can store down there, which we always did store there. You know, the tiller and all the stuff for the tractor, that's always been stored down there.
How about the little metal building down on Front Street? We own that, right?
Yeah. We got stuff, we got our spreaders, our snow plows down there.
I guess what I was gonna get to is the building worth any repair, really? I mean, how bad is that?
It's pretty rough shape. You know, like I said, every time it rains, I would like to see that one tore down before that one up there.
Well, maybe we should be looking at tearing that one down and tearing both of them down and building a nice metal pole barn that's got a, you know, concrete floor that you and your guys can work in a whole lot better than that building down there. It's dangerous and all. There are hazards every direction you look.
Well, actually, we inherited that building anyway,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I'm just saying that now, I guess my point is to consider getting past the idea of settling with whatever we've got and start making wiser investments and build you know, I don't know, I get the electric company magazine every week, most people probably get that, and I look at the back and they got these pole barns for nothing. And maybe that's what it's worth, but I mean, maybe it's something we should, you know, think about upgrading our facilities instead of just settling with what we got.
Hey, David, when you went through the old Girl Scout building down there, did you find my rock rake yet?
No, it wasn't.
John Herzog borrowed a rock rake from me years ago when he was a superintendent of the park. I've never seen it since then.
It's in the pond.
Probably.
It's in the pond.
That's what the
Anything else
fountain's
today?
hanging on.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Doing a good job. Thank you,
Doing a
buddy.
good job. Absolutely.
Public comments, anyone?
Public comments?
No? Okay, minutes from the May 26th meeting.
Move to approve.
You want a second, you want to change that to a second?
Yeah, I'll change it to a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. At this time, 6:24, we'll open a public hearing. The Mayor, Board, Aldermen, the City of St. Genevieve will hold a public hearing regarding the following amendments to the St. Genevieve Code of Ordinances, Chapter 405 zoning regulations. A, amendment to Chapter 405 zoning regulations, Article 5, supplementary and special use regulations, Section 405.200, special use regulations D, 24F, deplete and replace with F, reserved. B, amendment to Chapter 405 zoning regulations, Article 5, supplementary and special use regulations, Section 405.200, special use regulations D, 24H, amend language to read H, the owner of any use permitted under this subsection shall annually in writing report to the zoning administrator on the anniversary date of the issuance of the special use permit. This report shall specifically note the number of persons employed at the permitted location by month and the types of products and services produced during the prior year. The zoning administrator shall then inspect the use and property and report to the Board of Aldermen regarding the compliance of the use with the terms of the special use permit issued hereunder. In the event that the conditions are not met under this subsection, a rescission of the permitted use will occur. Everybody understand that? Carla?
Okay. So I'd like to enter into the St. Genevieve Municipal Code, my staff report, which recommends approval, and the planning and zoning recommendation, which recommended approval with a vote of 6-0 and 2 absent.
Give a 2-sentence explanation of what it is they're going to put in.
Okay, so it is to remove the section where in an I-1 zone, there are certain stipulations that you can do commercial, I'm sorry, in a C1 zone, there are certain stipulations that you need a special use permit, but there were requirements, 2-year expiration. It's removing the 2-year expiration on that special use permit and adding conditions. If the conditions aren't met, the rescission of the special use permit.
So a special use permit becomes permanent, subject to an annual review and possible rescission if you don't meet the conditions.
That is correct.
So it should cut down on a lot of paperwork.
It should.
But yet, you'll still be able to ride herd over through zoning and by them coming back in and
Yes.
keeping their end of the deal.
That is correct.
Sounds like a winner.
Any other comments or questions for the public hearing? Okay, we'll close the public hearing at 6:07.
Thanks, Carl.
Thanks, Carl.
Thank you. And you see where we're addressing that later as under new business. So Resolution 2016-23, a resolution authorizing 2 1996 GMC dump trucks to be declared surplus property and providing further authority.
I make a motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. No old business. We'll go into new business.
I'd like to talk to you about how you're gonna sell them.
New business, bill number 4106, first reading.
An ordinance approving the purchase of a 2016 GMC Sierra 3500 HD four-wheel drive regular cab from Lakeview, St. Louis, Missouri, in an amount not to exceed $26,521 for the Water and Sewer Department.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Move for a second reading.
Second. All in favor, second reading of 4106.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, second reading 4106.
An ordinance approving the purchase of a 2016 GMC Sierra 3500 HD four-wheel drive regular cab from Lakeview, St. Louis, Missouri, in an amount not to exceed $26,521 for the Water and Sewer Department.
Move to approve. Second.
And roll call.
Alderwoman Codwell.
Yes.
Alderman Couch.
Yes.
Alderman John Stupi.
Yes.
Alderman Jokers.
Yes.
Alderman Hook.
Yes.
Alderman Donnie Stupi.
Yes.
Alderman Prince.
Yes.
Alderman Rozika.
Yes.
8 yes, 0 no's. Bill number 4106 now becomes ordinance 4042.
Thank you. Bill number 4107, first reading.
An ordinance of the City of St. Genevieve, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain officials.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, bill number 4108, first reading.
An ordinance amending the City of St. Genevieve Code of Ordinances, Chapter 405, zoning regulations, Article 5, supplementary and special uses and regulations, Section 405.200, special use regulations.
Move to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Bill number 4109, first reading.
An ordinance of the City of St. Genevieve, Missouri, authorizing a no parking restriction on the south side of Merchant Street between 2nd Street and Main Street.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Bill number 4110, first reading.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept the attached proposal and enter into an agreement between the City of St. Genevieve and Information Technologies Incorporated, a Missouri corporation, in an amount not to exceed $2,158.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Get a second reading on that.
Second. Did you make a motion?
Yeah, motion for it.
All in favor of second reading of 4110?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Bill number 4110, second reading.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept the attached proposal and enter into an agreement between the City of St. Genevieve and Information Technologies Incorporated, a Missouri corporation, in an amount not to exceed $2,158.
Move to approve.
Second. Whatever.
Yeah.
And roll call.
Alderman Rozika?
Yes.
Alderman Prince?
Yes.
Alderman Donnie Stupi? Alderman Hook?
Yes.
Alderman Jokers?
Yes.
Alderman John Stupi?
Yes.
Alderman Couch?
Yes.
Alderwoman Codwell?
Yes.
8 yes, 0 no's. Bill number 4110 now becomes ordinance 4043.
Thank you. For other business, we have approval of a liquor license for downtown Sandbar, 299 Merchant Street, for the sale of intoxicating liquor of all kinds, not including Sunday sales.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we also have the sale area JC requesting a temporary liquor license for Sure to Fet, August 12th, 13th, and 14th. They are looking to add Friday to this. I think that might be something that I would suggest anyway, that we make the approval contingent upon the Sure to Fet Committee's approval of it. Because that, it kind of falls under their, we kind of give them the town, that jurisdiction. As far as Friday goes, we ought to make that their decision, I think.
I'm making a motion to approve it.
What does this say? What is that word?
We'll talk to Sure to.
That too.
Uniform?
Looks like it's uniform, but I don't,
Too many
He
letters.
was aware that,
Until 10 p.m.
yes.
Oh, until 10 p.m. That's what it
Oh,
says.
God, I thought it said uniform too, Rick.
Until 10
It looks like
p.m.
uniform.
that's some pretty good hieroglyphics there.
We'll talk to Truck.
I think it's, is it 8? John, do you recall? Is it 8 or is it 10?
Read that whole last line there, Ben.
When on
We'll talk to
Saturday
Sure to Fet,
night?
too.
We'll talk
Yeah.
to
I think
Truck.
it's 8 a.m.
Sure to
I thought it
Fet.
was
Oh,
8.
okay.
And that's by ordinance.
About uniform.
I think it's
Yes, it is.
where it's set up.
So it would have to go under our ordinance, right?
Who got to sign for this? Look at his signature.
It would,
Kevin
Yeah, that is.
if it is 8, we can't, yeah, if it is 8 under ordinance or under their requirements, then it needs to be 8. So
Whatever it is.
we're going to pass it based on what the rules are.
Sure to Fet.
Yeah.
This behind.
So who made a motion to approve it? Do we
I think-
got a motion and a second?
No, I do not.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve, or Rick, you made the motion,
Yeah.
didn't you?
I did.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we went a little bit longer than what we thought, but we would, let's see, we can adjourn, right?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? to some more understandings. At first I want to say, obviously, you guys know how I feel about things, and it's certainly nothing personal, and I'm just trying to look out for the voters of the city, and I'm sure you guys, I hope you can understand my point and our point, and I know you guys represent the people that have elected you also, so I hope we can work together. So, I guess when we first started all of this, or when we first came to you 3 or 4 years ago, and looking for some contributions back to the city, the main street that we had talked about, I guess if, depending upon how you read the statute, roads leading into town, we had come up with 4th Street here and wanting to make improvements on it. And we were under the understanding that the money that and I believe you guys are too, and Joe, I know you're new, but that we would end up taking that money and setting it aside until we were able to have enough money to try to do a big project on this street from where the highway maintenance ends, at least the 4-way stop was the initial project. Now, I mean, we can go from there all the way out to the park, as far as making improvements on that particular street and spend several $1 million if we want to, but knowing what projects that we've done in the past, this little stretch from there to the 4-way stop would end up, I mean, it could easily be $500,000 to $1 million, especially if you threw in the things that are needed, not necessarily maybe needed on other special road district roads, but this one's going to need curbs and gutters, and not that you participate in the sidewalk side of it, but while we were doing it, the city's part of it, I'm sure would be the sidewalk side of it. But I mean, we could spend a lot of money, and it's going at $27,000 a year. It was going to take quite a while to accumulate that much money. So that's why we had kind of just left that floating. And I think the meeting tonight, we were going to talk about maybe some projects, look at some projects possibly. That's kind of the way the status of that one was, and we were just kind of waiting until either we could have some money available to match what you guys were giving us, or there end up being some more money somewhere along the line to make that project a possibility. In the meantime, there's been discussion over the past years, and just recently we've had another meeting to talk about extension of Maple Street through Mississippi Lime's property to hit 61 to relieve a lot of congestion coming down Market and up Nye Street. We've got complaints all the time about how narrow Nye Street is and speeding on Nye Street, and you've got all of the kids in the campus trying to get to the campus, and everybody drives now, and that would certainly relieve the pressure off of that. So that would be another project that we as the city would only end up with a little bitty portion of that, actually across maybe one lot as far as it would end up being in the city limits, and the rest of it would end up being on Mississippi Lime's property. And haven't said they're interested. They've been in every meeting and they're interested in talking and listening, but at this point they're waiting for an estimate of what the project would end up costing. Martin has talked to Tim Bear about getting us an estimate, a rough estimate of cut and fill, and how long it would end up being, and that's in the process of happening right now. So
basically that would be a special road then, right?
it would end, I'm sure it would end up as a special road. And I don't know, when it comes to building new roads, how you guys work with does the county and the special road district building, are you if it's a new road, do you guys build the new road?
Well,
or do you run into that?
We never run into that. We basically, it's got to be under our specs before we take it over.
We accept it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can give you the example where I live, because that was a new roads in Hertz's subdivision up Industrial River. He developed that whole development, put in a road, all the landowner chipped in to get it blacktop to the right proper width, and then Special Road took it over.
That's no different than the city taking over a developer's road. We get it. We get that.
This project is being again, I don't know how that particular project, or this particular project would work, because there's really, I don't know, anybody really wants to take responsibility for it. You know, it's not going to be, I don't know that the school district, if they can or will participate, I don't know if legally they can. They've been involved in the meeting. Certainly it would benefit them. But I don't know if they will or can, again. But I don't know who would take ownership of the road.
Well, we would take
I mean ownership of building, the responsibility of building the road.
Mississippi Line would have to give up the
right of way.
Yeah.
So.
And nobody, they haven't made a decision on that yet, huh?
No, we're looking for numbers.
The times we've met with both, whoever, then, you know, conceptually, they think it's a good idea, but they want more specific information, and of course, we didn't have it, so that's why we're going to ask Bear to develop a preliminary estimate, and then they can see the proposed route, how much is required in terms of the easement or right-of-way, and then we can find out the level of their cooperation. They have something they can take to the corporate office.
What's the distance of that, do you know? Or?
Yeah, about 3,000 feet.
Which ain't
a mile and a half.
No.
No, 3,000
feet, half a mile. Sorry.
Quite more than that, wouldn't it?
Well, miles.
I thought it was farther than that too.
Well, maybe.
I guess I don't even know where you're talking about.
Just be quiet.
That's why I'm being quiet.
The end of Maple Street would come out up here.
That's all
It's on a mile, 3,280 feet. Mile, 5,280.
For liability reasons.
They don't want us to.
I'm pretty sure, I'll go and look at it.
I didn't think it was there.
Why is that?
Well, that's true.
It'd be where folks got.
Just to relieve the congestion on Market and Fifth Street.
Does Market Street not fall under special roads?
No.
Because it's a main thoroughfare coming into town?
I guess that's something that's up in the air, that it could.
I don't know, we can't fix the streets we got. Why in the world would we even consider building a new one to maintain?
We would only have.
We would maintain it.
Tom, we would only have a very small portion of it.
We would actually asphalt it, you know, if it's prepped right, you know, in our specs.
And the streets that get to, the real benefit would be the school district, because the streets getting to the school district, all of them are narrow and were built a couple hundred years ago. So it's really to their benefit to get the kids in and out of there and the buses in and out of there. So that's where the benefit's really coming from.
But Mississippi Line moved their employee entrance up to there to alleviate the traffic, and now we're gonna bring that traffic right back out across from their entrance?
They don't want it across from the entrance. They would want
Okay, so we're
some distance one way or the other.
So it wouldn't be like a four-way?
It'd have to go north, there's really nowhere you go south.
Yeah, they would go north.
No.
Okay. Well,
I'm not losing my patience at all. I'm not doing. But what are we talking about here? Why are we having this?
I know we're talking.
Why are we having this meeting?
That was not the reason.
No, that
Why
was.
are we having this meeting?
We're way off
the
this. This is
subject here.
just, that was another possibility of a project anyway, that is out there that we could do, or could be done in cooperation with.
I know what I need. I need to be able to give the people that ask me an answer of, I live in town, and I pay a special road district's tax. How does that benefit me in the city limits of St. Genevieve? What is the budget for the next year? What was the last 3 budgets? I mean, are we getting back what we put in? Is the idea that we're supposed to, maybe the idea is we're not supposed to, I don't know. I mean, what is the special road districts doing for the taxpayers
All
of
the city residents
of the
use
city of
special
St.
roads
Genevieve?
every day. I mean, you might not,
I don't know what they are.
well, like if you go, yeah.
Well, I mean, after this been out in the paper, that city taxpayers pay a substantial tax in, and they don't get much back, I got everybody I talked to saying, hey, what are you gonna do about that? Are we getting screwed? Who's screwing us? Is it-
You're saying right there
Okay,
that,
wait a minute.
that we
No,
use.
help me, I just wanna
Joe,
understand.
You're saying right there that the city people use these streets or these
Right.
roads.
Like if you go play a round of golf, you know, you use, the golf is on the golf course is on a special road.
I don't care about the golf.
Yeah,
You go out to the
I can care
That's
less.
something for us to-
That's
Joe, you know how this
nothing
is.
we're
You got
talking about, okay?
constituents. You gotta
I don't
tell
care
them
about the golf course.
Okay.
I care about what's going on in the city of St.
City limits.
Genevieve and what you're helping us do, which is
Okay.
not much.
I'm the new guy here,
Okay.
so I'm gonna play dumb, but I'm also gonna use Dick's letter that he originally wrote when I decided to run, and it had nothing to do with this discussion that I didn't know was going on. So, but using that letter and the history behind the special road district, the whole special road district was developed to benefit the city of St. Genevieve, so the people from, in the outlying areas would come to town on decent roads.
But that's,
What do you mean, no?
that's archaic, okay? Now stop and think about that.
It was created so that the farmers could get to market originally.
And guess where don't they bring their tax dollars to town?
That the farmers
I
took
don't
in
know.
market.
Joe, you know constituents, and I have people ask me all the time, because this information came out, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but I need to have a better understanding so I can answer to them that their tax dollars are being well spent.
You know,
And
Joe,
they want to see it in town, not at the golf course. That's a terrible example.
Joe, you said a while ago there's a benefit.
They use those roads? That ain't a terrible example.
It is.
Okay, let's put in paper to the people.
You know how many people in the city
Excuse me,
limits drive
excuse
through
me.
my neighborhood every night, just riding around?
Excuse me. Let's go ahead and get this in the paper that it's important that people can get out of town to the golf course. And
That
you
was Tom,
taxpayers.
That wasn't his
on his whole
point.
list there.
That was not his point.
That's not the reason.
An 8-mile radius of the city is special road, is it 8
Anyway,
miles?
Rick had a question, I
So
think.
8
My
miles
question,
all the
I
way
only have the
around.
one question. We're spending $160,000, I don't know what that number is, that's a number, 150,000, somewhere in that neighborhood, is what the city residents pay into special roads tax, right? And maybe it's simply an issue of education, maybe me included. I don't know, I know nothing about city road tax. All I know is I read the paper, and I sit in meetings, and I hear that the special roads district, this is what we pay in, and this is what we kind of get back and benefit in the city limits of St. Genevieve.
Yeah.
So I think that's a holdup. It certainly was for me, is the city limits. And Joe, again, you know how people ask you these questions every day, all the time, they want an answer, and I don't have an answer to give them. So all I want out of this is a better answer. I had no idea it was an 8-mile radius.
And then last year, or whatever, you said, well, I don't think we're gonna give you any money this year. We've got a few things we
I've
have.
been on here 3 months. I
Okay,
said I'm the
well,
new
it's one
guy.
of
Then
those
let the other guys-
people. Okay,
Well,
No, but I have an opinion.
well, so all once, you can't give us the money because you got a little bit of equipment problem, so we don't get anything out of it. We continue to pay
That's
in
the way the taxpayer
60,000 a
look at
year.
the
But
main
we're-
reason, because of the spring flooding, we overshot our budget, was why we couldn't give you the,
Well,
last year.
once again, that,
Well,
that's why we're here. We want to do away with the monetary
we want to help.
money that we, the amount we give you every year,
Is
and
the-
come up with a,
well, I don't think there's a whole lot of help, Joe, when they say, well, we're not gonna give you anything this year. We had a
It's
little
a
bit of
perception of the
problem.
way
Wait a
We're not
minute.
gonna give you anything.
How many of you just want to move to Illinois and work on a budget impasse for a damn year?
No, yeah, come on.
He just told you, the flood wiped out how many roads down in the big field that they gotta
What's
fix?
that have to do with the city of St. Genevieve? Once again. The
You
city
guys have
limits.
no
The
interest in
city
the port.
limits.
Wait a minute, you have no interest in the port down there. That's a special road. If that road don't get fixed and those roads in the big field don't get fixed, nobody's gonna benefit from that.
What's going on at the port anyway?
Hey, I didn't hire Beelman to be the...
Okay, so there's nothing-
We're stevedore, don't even go there.
we need to,
We came here to help you.
yeah.
I have a
what we
point
do,
I'd
we
like
look-
to make
We look at
here.
our area coverage, which is roads in an 8-mile radius, and we develop projects for what needs attention. And that's what you all need to get to us too, is what projects you're interested in, and we evaluate, and then,
We'd
money's,
be more than happy to.
yeah. But we can't sit up and just give out X amount of
See what our
dollars.
resources-
So say we come up with a project.
On our,
Yeah, you give
on our
us a
roads.
project.
Say we come up with a project that's gonna cost $160,000. You gonna give us that?
Is
Not
it gonna
in 1
be?
year.
Why not? That's what we're paying you per year for that.
They can't.
They're
It's a
limited by
perception.
statute.
It's a
You're about ready,
perception.
I'm about ready to walk out, because you're entirely out of line.
Oh, I'm out of line.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead and go.
Hey, wait a minute, guys, come on.
I made up my mind, if you're gonna talk like that,
I haven't been disrespectful to you. I've asked you questions.
I feel we're a bunch of idiots.
you
here.
are.
We're treating them
I'm
like.
what?
We came here to help you. I mean, we're
Why don't we
gonna
just sit
get
here and
let's
talk
listen here,
civil?
man.
Everybody needs to calm down.
Yeah, let's,
It's
You
getting
know,
loud in here.
That 25,000 that we agreed on, we could, with our resources, we could do more, in value on the street repair than that 25,000 a year. If you give us a project, we'll not know 160,000 in 1 year, but within our budget and reasonable amount, we'll go ahead and consider it.
okay. Beth,
But you
first.
throw this
Okay, can I
160,000
say
at us,
something?
we're-
Okay. So let's say, forgive me, I don't know a lot about the special road district, so I'm gonna ask a couple of questions here.
Apparently,
That-
there's a lot of people don't.
Well, I think that's exactly
That-
right.
That's, we
Okay,
want
that-
to hear, we want to learn, so.
That list of streets, are there streets on that list that are in city limits? Or are they strictly outside within that 8-mile radius?
They're pretty well outside
Okay.
the city limits.
Now, there are, I'm sure, city residents who every day leave the city and go where they're gonna go and travel those roads. Okay? Even though they're not in city limits. Not everybody, but I would say there's a good percentage of city residents that do use those roads. Just like the county gives us money for the city park, right? Because county residents use the city park. Not every county residents, but a lot of county residents come in and use the city park. So, to me, it sounds like what we need to do is work with them, give them projects that we would like them to contribute to, instead of coming in here and yelling at them, and try to work with them with the funding they have that they can give back to us. Because, yeah, the roads to the port, that affects the citizens of St. Genevieve. Many people won't think it does, but it does, honestly.
Not until we get it up
But
and
what are-
running, but that's.
Okay,
One of the roads on
so
here
we
is
just
We hope that it will.
need to give them a list of projects
Work the
that they can look at, help them, help us.
I guess,
That's what we're here for.
I guess that's why I kind of started. The one project that we had talked about was probably a $500,000 project from there to here. The main entrance into town was something that desperately needs, I think, attention. We got it Durasealed last year, and it's cracking up again, but I mean, I don't know how long it's gonna take, but at the rate we're going, it's going to be a gravel road, but if we end up waiting on that.
Well, then let's
amount of
find
months-
See,
other
in a
projects
case
that
like
they can
that,
help
if
us
you'd let
with.
us do it, we could make sure it's done right, and
Compared to what?
compared to what was done, the
Well,
job that was
The
done.
Duraseal.
That who did it? Oh,
The Duraseal.
Yeah.
our guys didn't do it right?
Well, you had to
you're
redo,
talking
well, not you guys.
Oh,
that
you're
was
talking
an
about
outside contractor.
The slurry, the
I
dirt.
mean, we'd rather do it ourselves
Yeah.
than
Thank
you
you.
hire an
Yeah, we
outside
got some
contractor.
specs we go by.
Yeah,
Well, and listen, I don't mean disrespect, I'm very frustrated because I don't know, right? And what I need is to know, to become educated. And I have made no effort to do it myself, right? I have only watched the paper, I've only heard what other people in this room have said, and I've only received questions from my constituents that say,
yeah, but don't,
wait, that say, hey, what are we getting out of this?
does everybody always get what they think they're getting out of
That's
paying taxes?
that's beyond the point. Why is the special roads district an important thing today instead of the county doing theirs and the city doing ours? And cooperating together on things to help everybody? What is the purpose? Is it archaic or is it very important? Don't get me wrong, I don't know, that's why I'm asking.
In a nutshell, I think what Tom's saying is, and I'm not being antagonistic, if you weren't there, if all we had was the city and the county, what
What's the
wouldn't get
difference?
done?
Not
What
that-
wouldn't get done?
Not
What
that-
are we, you know, what are we
Not to
paying?
downgrade the county, because they do a good job. but
Yeah.
Special road, I think, for the amount, a couple of employees, I think we take care of the roads
I'm
really well.
not beating you
But
guys
if you
up.
throw it all together, I'm afraid there's gonna be some neglect there.
Well, I'm not
Because they ain't
beating you
gonna be
up.
able to-
All that I even care about is the citizens of St. Genevieve feel like their taxpayers are affecting them directly. Because that's what every taxpayer thinks. That's free common knowledge. I want to help all my neighbors, but at 8.1 miles, I'm kind of tired of helping my neighbors, if that's what the radius is. So my city tax dollars, I want to see what I'm getting for what I'm paying. And it's difficult for a lot of people, I think, right now, to see what the Special Road District does.
How many miles,
Because they don't know.
how many miles of roads do you encompass?
Right around 60.
60 miles. And what's your budget per year?
Around 300,000, 300 to 400,000.
No wonder they don't have enough money
solely
to do
responsible for those roads?
That's
That's
nothing
nothing.
for 60 miles of road.
We got 60 miles.
I mean, that dollar amount is nothing to take care of 60 miles of roads.
33? I thought we had-
I'm trying to continue to make my point. Taxpayers in town need to either become better educated, and that would be on you guys, to say, okay, this is what Special Roads District is. This is what we do for you. This is how we touch you every single day that you may not recognize. Because right now, the feeling is, in my head, and in my perception with a lot of people I talk to, is that we just give them the money and they fix county roads without fixing city streets. But think about it.
You mentioned county roads again.
Whatever. That's what people, I think
No,
that's
there
what
ain't no
people
whatever.
perceive. No, there is, because I think that's what people perceive. People I wouldn't be able to name one special road. I have no idea
I
what it
drive
is.
on them every day, Tom. Let's just start all
No,
over
I'm
and
saying
see what
it's
they're
education.
willing to do for us instead of keep
Well, I have a question.
hounding and hounding. Let's just see what they're willing to do for us. Give them a benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, it
Do a lot, as long
completely
as we
sounds like they're
cooperate.
willing to work with
A lot of
us.
city residents didn't know they were paying
The young
special
lady
road
there,
tax.
you make a perfect
sure.
point.
It's just education.
Yeah, get some projects together and.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make
Because
a
they have a
list.
responsibility too, to their people, to not just give money out to us
To who?
to sit in a bank. What do we get, 20,
Wait a minute.
Joe, those people are
our
us.
people too, but that's other people too.
But, and to the point that Joe made,
But what they're saying is if we had a defined project,
You
I
give
got
us a
one.
project.
they would probably,
we got-
we've mentioned several, but we gotta decide, what are we gonna?
Joe, what's the difference, define project, okay? What's the difference if they give us $25,000 and we say we're gonna take the Durapatcher and we're gonna patch the streets? Now, that's a defined project, right?
But let us do it.
Exactly.
And we could do twice as much.
Define
Why-
money.
Is
define
it
what
just because we
roads.
don't know how? I'm
No,
not
it's
being
because
smart aleck.
when you
I'm
guys
asking.
give it to an outside contractor,
No,
But
we
our
would do
guys-
this in-house.
No, Rick, we're thinking of two different things.
Yeah.
The Durapatcher is not what we're talking about.
We're talking about
Talking
the
about
slurry.
slurry
slurry
seal
seal.
No, I'm talking about
downtown.
Durapatcher, that's what I'm
Well,
saying.
yeah.
And that's the
how
point
many
I brought
times,
up.
you ain't gonna use that all the time, I mean.
What's that?
Were you happy with that?
Durapatcher?
Yeah, we used it, and we
somewhat.
weren't happy with it, we probably won't use it
It's fine for
anymore.
potholes.
Right,
But
for a
but
long
for
term.
cracks and stuff, it just makes the road like a washboard.
See, we probably
But
won't
I
use
got
it.
just a comment
So
back
what are you
to
gonna use?
Tom and Beth's question.
Well,
Actually, what Paul's been indicating is, we're willing to do even maintenance work with you. And to answer your question about what I tell my constituents, they don't know who the special road is. Well, if they start seeing the special road trucks in town doing work on streets that are.
No, but they're willing to
That's what
now.
I'm saying.
They're willing to offer.
We can work with yous, and when you want to fix a street, I'll just use the north part of town, which ties to the special road district, up, and by the water tower and stuff. If you needed to do some work there and people seen the special road truck doing the paving or doing whatever needed to be
That
done.
would go so far with people.
Well, that's what we're offering to do.
There's just a general
Right.
ignorance of what the special road district does.
You don't see us in town because.
Even though
Maybe we can have somebody from the newspaper do an article
Well,
on
Maybe
what the
if you
special
go
road
by my
district
house and
does.
you got a little
I mean, honestly,
blacktop, you
people
get
need to
potholes that
learn.
our city employees can't find.
I mean,
I think it's just, I'm frustrated because I don't even know what the special road district is. And then one day at this table, I get informed that we're paying $160,000.
Well, let's
And we're
just,
not- John,
we
please,
keep knocking it
please
around.
let me finish.
Let them see what they're
Please.
gonna offer. You keep hounding about the 160,
John.
180,000.
Well,
I'm
it
sick
doesn't
and
make any
tired of
difference, John,
listening
that's
to
what
it.
we're paying them.
Please let me
But
finish.
let's just let them start offering some stuff in return.
John, please let me finish. We just did. Please let me.
Then
My
finish.
problem was, that's the only information I had. And I think if there was more information, it would go a long way for people to understand what the road district is, how it can help us, how it helps us every day.
Excuse, can I say something, and again, as the new dumb guy? The problem with the special road district appears, and this doesn't lay on Martin or Dick or anybody in this room probably, the special road district's been here, according to the article, 96 years. Somebody forgot to pass the message up the ladder as things evolved, why it was there, and people should know that, especially the people in office. But that's, like you said earlier, an education thing. That should have been part of history as the city evolved from that point to this point. And they should have been in meetings like this 60 years ago and 50 years ago.
But Joe, that's part of my point that I've tried to been making is, just as your point was that those roads were there so farmers or people could get to market, could get to the cities. But think about it, turn that around the other way. I bet you there's more people in your district that use the city streets that fall in special road district than the people in the city use the special road district streets. So I mean, they use them probably every day. There's roads that you have that I've never been on, that will never be on in my life. So, but those people come to town and use those streets.
I want them to use our streets.
That's right,
I
John.
would love for them.
John, wait a minute, but we are paying these guys to help maintain those streets. So that's my big bitch, is we ought to be getting some of that money that these people are
They're willing to offer
Now, wait a
now.
minute, wait a minute. The other side of it is, it's 96 years old. It needs to be, that's a bad statute. Look at it today. Think of it today. If you came to the voters and you said, I want to create a special road district, and City of St. Genevieve, you guys need to vote to get into this district, to contribute this amount of money, and here's where your money's going to go. Do you think there's a snowball hell in chance in the world that would ever pass? There's no way in the world it would ever pass. It's an archaic statute that needs to be changed. The other side of it is, on the other side of your special road district, those 8 miles, how many people in the county use special road district? How many people use the county roads, cross the special road district roads to get to wherever they got to go? They're the one. Why aren't they paying special road district tax? Because they're using your roads probably more than the people in the city are using them.
Well, they're spending money in St. Genevieve.
That's what I was just gonna say, they're all spending tax dollars at my place and your place.
Stop, I'm not done. You guys get money from the road tax just as we get 20-something%, I think. You guys get, what, 16%? From the sales tax?
I think it is.
Okay. A third of the county's taxes, a third of that tax, sales tax, is generated in the city of St. Genevieve. We get part of it back. You guys get part of it. So the more money that people spend in the city of St. Genevieve on that sales tax, we all get a piece of it. So you're getting money again on money that's spent in the city of St. Genevieve, goes back to the special road district, goes back to the county, goes back to everybody. But at the same time, again, the thing is so, and it's a statute, it's a bad statute. It's so outdated and so lopsided.
I got a question for you, Nick.
Yeah, okay, I'm done.
No, you're fine. If, I'm getting an insinuation, again, from the conversations before, some people want to dissolve the special road district. Okay, if we have a $400,000 budget that takes care of 60 miles of road around the city and even up to the city limits, and you dissolve the road district, does everybody think that tax gets to stay? Where's the county going to get another $500 million?
That would be the idea.
Huh?
If you'd put it on a ballot that, if you would abolish the special road and then you put this on the ballot for a new tax for the city, you think that would go over?
I don't know. I think it's definitely an education thing to tell the people, the citizens of St. Genevieve, that you've got the majority voting rights in the special road district, but you're not getting your money's worth. Why don't you take your money and spend it in the city? I think if we can educate them enough, I think I could sell that.
The first meeting I was at, I was the new guy. You guys came in just because I won. Not for that reason, but you and Martin came to the meeting. I had a question because I don't know. Those people within the special road district, within St. Genevieve County, outside the city limits, probably spend more tax dollars in St. Genevieve City than anybody from St. Mary's, from Bloomsdale, from west part of the county.
These are numbers we can't capture.
I understand that, but there's a number there somewhere that you're benefiting from the same thing because we're close to town. I live in the special road district. I come to town all the time. I'm spending tax dollars, so there's got to be an offset a little bit. And I don't want to get in this match. We came here to see what we could do together to do something.
Yeah, we're
having the wrong argument.
Yeah.
No, but on the other side,
doing away with the special road district. I'm asking a question because I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. Is it still important? That's my question.
if you did, I don't know if you guys even put a pencil to this or thought of it, but I've been on county roads that are better than the special road district roads, and I think the county's come a long way, obviously, in the last several years. I mean, if you go out on Sugar Bottom Road, and you go out V Road, and you go there, I think where the special road district takes over is gravel, and up to that point, I believe where the county is, it's all paved. I might be wrong, but I think so. Anyway.
Yeah, but what's that, I mean.
But my point is, what would be the efficiencies if the special road district, you know, you talk about the amount of money that would be lost. Well, certainly we would hope some of it would stay in the city, because we would want the city taxpayers to get the full benefit of what they're spending. But at the same time, the people in the special road district, they're paying for county roads. City taxpayers paying for county roads, city roads, and special road district. Special road district people are paying for special road district and county roads. And sure, there would be some money there. There would be that tax would go away. But at the same time, not that it would make up total amount of difference, but have you guys thought of the efficiencies that if the special road district wasn't there, I don't know, between the city and the county, do you have 3 or 4 graders? Do you you could eliminate?
We're down to 1 grader,
okay.
Because.
Would you really need one? Do you have 10 dump trucks? Could you get by if it was combined? Could you get by with 9?
These are the things we have to look at in our budget.
I mean, what are the efficiencies of combining the whole thing together? That was my point of eliminating the special road district, really for the benefit of the city, of the people that live in the city. But I don't know the difference, and I'm sure nobody's ever put a pencil to it. You guys have administrative costs that the county could probably absorb pretty easily. I know you're paying for that part of it. Obviously, you'd still need more employees, but what are those efficiencies that if the special road district wasn't there, that the county would realize, and everybody could come out a winner? I'm just raising those questions. That's all.
Well, we didn't come here to talk about.
No, we came to talk, okay.
We keep getting off subject.
I just think we need to sit and talk, what are they willing to offer? Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, I'm a business owner. We got a street department, okay, what do they do, mow grass and...
It's a public works department.
I know,
we call it streets, but
they patch holes. You people, you do chip and seal? Do you do any of that, or is that strictly the county?
Well, we do it.
Yeah.
But through the county.
How many employees do you have?
Just 2 and a part-time.
2.5. Yeah.
I mean, they got a lot of stuff to offer that we don't even have that they can do.
As John said, what are you bringing?
Well, they're willing to offer. I don't think they're bringing anything to the table right now. They're saying, what do you want from us?
I'm going to give you an amount. I mean,
You wanted to see trucks in town? We can give you trucks in town if you want us to help you work on your streets.
We want to come up with a long-term plan, and you guys come up with your specific projects you want done, and bring them to us.
We have.
In order to do that, we'll need an order of magnitude.
Yeah, we could come up with a lot of projects. What realistically is the box, financially, the projects should fit in? I mean, is it a 200,000, is it 10,000? What kind of project sizes?
Well, it could be 200,000 over
What kind of projects do
long-term.
you want us to bring to you? Because we don't want to.
But the thing is, if you put 200,000, say you give us 25,000.
No,
I'm saying, okay. Say if you gave us that 25,000 a year, by the time we saved up $200,000 to do the project.
Just forget about that
Okay.
25,000. You bring us a project.
We'll tell you how much we can do.
Yeah.
So if the project's a $200,000 project, would you be able to say, look, we
It'll
can
take
give
us-
you, it's gonna take 8 years, but we can get it done
won't take that
at
long.
25 grand a pop?
No, just forget about that 20.
Or whatever number, you gotta apply some budget number to
No,
it.
you bring us a project,
yeah,
so
you
many
give us
feet
a
of road,
project.
blah, 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 and we can tell you what we can do it for.
What do you mean what you can do it for, Paul?
It'll be
lost
our
for that.
project. It will take it over, and we'll make sure it's done
You
right.
people, I
And
mean,
then we'll
So
maintain
how
it.
do you, how do you?
I don't
how do you
understand.
calculate your
So
costs?
if we came up with a project, you would take it over and you would do the
No, we
project?
gave you back St. Mary's Road.
That'd be fine. You put that on paper and we'll do it.
Okay.
I mean, that's all we're asking. You know, if you
Just
want to
put-
take care of
put-
St. Mary's Road, we'll take care of St. Mary's Road.
Put the project on paper, let us know the distance, point A to point B.
Yeah.
Sure.
And-
problem is that-
But I don't think
a lot of
that'd be your
yeah.
priority, would it?
Our pressing needs are.
I think Ford Street isn't probably more
Fourth and
needed.
Market, if Market qualifies.
Or Market.
They need,
Yeah, if it qualifies.
Fourth Street is a removal
think it
and
would.
and replacement project.
Well, see, we can do that.
Okay.
I mean, we'll tear that, we ain't gonna patch. I mean, unless you want us to, but that
No,
wouldn't be the way we.
take over maintenance, and I was gonna say, most of our pressing needs aren't just more chip seal.
Oh, no,
We need to
just
remove
forget
and
about-
replace sections of
yeah,
road.
forget
So
about
you
it.
can't build up anymore.
So say we come up with an area that's, what? Mark, what are we talking about there?
Say like-
We're talking about 4th Street and how many,
Just say like the four-way stop up to water tower, KSGM's where ours
What do
takes
you,
over.
what do you think, what do you
I mean, you
kind
give
of
us a
using as a
project.
number?
okay, but what's the chance of us getting this project done if we give it to you?
It's
No, it depends
nothing,
on-
Not
nothing,
a good chance.
no round figure.
But it
Just
won't
say
be
it won't
done,
be done
it
in
won't
one
be
year.
done overnight.
We can tell you, we give us the specifics.
Paul, I guess the difference, and maybe I'm stupid at this, but the difference between yous and us, we gotta pay engineering and everything
Yeah.
else. You guys know what you're doing.
Right.
You don't do
No, we're
it.
still gonna get some engineering done if we're spending taxpayers' money.
You look at that sidewalk on Main Street, I'm embarrassed over that we would
John,
pay
you're embarrassed
anything.
over everything in
Well,
town
look
every
at that.
fucking week.
Well, look at that, what we did up there, that was horrible, that we had to get that engineered.
Yeah.
What part?
When we got Bernie Bowman, you got different yokers, they got their own engineers, they can do just as
Right.
good. What do they need to do?
We've
you know?
never hard engineer.
Yeah.
I mean, even though-
That's the first thing, I think we're.
I feel like we have a very important duty to the citizens to ensure that taxpayer dollars are spent the best way possible, the smartest way possible. And I can take you all over town and show you streets that the city has for somehow assumed or got from developers. And those are just in different places where asphalt's put on dirt. And where the asphalt, some places it's this thick, some places it's this thick, some places it's that thick. Engineering and testing and quality control will not allow that to happen.
Can I just say something? I don't
Please.
know how this works, but I know there's a couple city streets that are basically in the special road district, read the sign on the bridge over here. I don't think you're gonna get a commitment for us to take care of all the city streets. I mean, I don't know if that's,
At what point did you think that was brought up?
but just a few seconds.
No, it wasn't. Joe, I'm not gonna play politics with you on this.
I ain't playing politics. I didn't get into this.
We're getting off the
Okay.
subject
I
again.
think-
Guys, I appreciate it. We will do that.
We were almost at an agreement, now
We will do that. We will seriously sit down and come up with some.
and we'll be willing to
thoughts.
cooperate.
All right.
Guys, did you give us a list of streets you would,
I can get you,
that you would paint on? Guys,
Well,
that
we
would
like
give us
you-
something to think about.
well, we'd like you to give us this.
Oh,
The ones that need the most
okay.
attention.
Yeah.
And I think, and then one of the new ones you talked about, which may be unfeasible at any time in the near future with Maple, because that's a big project, and I'm still baffled being at Mississippi Lime all these years that they'd be willing to turn over underground mine property without any kind of liability
Joe,
restrictions.
they haven't said boo about anything. They're just in the meeting.
Yeah, I understand, but just that conversation made me think of that, because I know that's the old mined out part that I worked in for a long time, so I would think they would want to consider the liability process of donating ground to make a road that goes over mine property. I know mines are going under all the
country, you're driving over mines.
Huh?
All over the country, you're driving over mines. That ain't no big deal at all.
And
Well, I'm just saying,
That's something that's.
My only last question, and listen, thank you for coming into a hornet's nest. I mean, I was pissed off because all my information that I had was that we pay but we don't get anything back. I see that's not the case, all right? I'm not angry at any of you individually, but again, how big is the box when you say come to you with a project? We need, I mean, if your budget's, what's your budget a year?
$400,000.
400,000.
Okay, it costs us $500,000 to do 2.5 blocks on Portage Street.
Well,
Maybe we need to hire them more.
Yeah,
I
well,
wish that would have been one of the projects.
pardon me?
I wish you would have given us that project.
Well, we don't give anybody a project, it has to go to bid.
Well, we need
That's
to
the law.
contract
No,
through
it-
them.
Well, yeah, these wouldn't have to go up for bid.
Well, I think that's probably
No.
interesting. No engineers, no bidding, and this is looking really good. So,
See, you.
so a project of, if you help us get an idea of what might fit into your
I
budget.
mean, we
it'll
might
help us
put
which project
we
to move
might
forward.
put it up for bid on some of the areas that we're gonna have to.
If you got
ask for.
2.5 people, you gotta cut stuff, I mean,
Well, that's what I mean, but you guys don't have to put, I mean, if you give it to special road, you don't have to put it up for bid before you give it to.
so is a $40,000 project, or is it 10 or 100? Just a box, just a rough, something
I mean,
that, because I don't,
if it's
it's not
long-term-
worth, I'm sorry.
You know, if it's a long-term project, 200,000 ain't out of the question.
That's what.
You can't expect, here's this 160,000 coming up again, but you can't expect 160,000 in
Well,
one
I don't
year.
know, I mean, I still gotta get feedback from the people I talk to every day that pay their taxes. And I really, Dick made a clear point that, you guys said it, this was started 100 years ago, and is there any value today to do this? Because it's all tax money, we're all paying the money. It just pays to different spots.
Well, I should.
Was I what?
If you abolish the special road, just wait, see what happens.
Everywhere in the world doesn't have a special road system, and they get by.
Maybe you guys are blessed.
Maybe we are.
That's why it's special.
You can call it special.
Do you have short motor graders?
Well, I just think personally, if you want to think about abolishing it, the next meeting you better have is with the county, because they've been very generous to us over the years on stuff.
No.
Very generous.
All I want to know is are we still doing the right thing with the taxpayers' dollars? That's all I want to know. That is this big question at the end of everything that we do here, is are we doing the right thing with the taxpayers' dollars?
Well, as I said earlier, if they were there, what wouldn't get done?
Right.
That would be a pretty fair assessment of, okay, if that didn't exist, what wouldn't get maintained? Or what would suddenly get thrust on other people to pull up the slack? To me, that would be an accurate
All
way
right, guys, I think we've beaten this one.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming
Thank you.
and
Yeah.
putting up with this. And it's certainly not personal. It's just, this is a passionate thing. That people are just tired of not getting
what they comprehend.
Well, they're
as they
willing
return.
they're willing to come forward, so let's.
People
let
want to
them
know
come
what
forward.
they're paying for.
No, they're not coming forward with the project, John, we're taking it from them.
But they're willing to talk. We're at least talking.
Well, no, we'll do more than talk.
I know, but at least we're talking.
Yeah.
That's more than what's before. It's just he
Right.
says, she says in the paper. We need to get face to face, and you guys are willing to start working with us?
I want to apologize to you. I lost my temper.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Now, Joe, I'm not apologizing to you.
Paul? Buck's following you the other day.
Hey, Benson.
He is motion to adjourn, or we just have an order meeting?
I know, I don't know where he lives.
We got 2 items.
All right, closed session, let's go.
Radio tower.
Oh, okay.
Make a motion.
You know what we call it, silver, silver,
It's just a work session.
right before you go.
We got another meeting, we got some.
Well, we got to get everybody else out here too.
I'm gonna
Make it
go
right.
get out.
Yes,
You know where Rip lives?
Yeah.
George Myers.
But there's a drop off there.
I make a motion, we go into closed session.
I second the motion. On what reason?
On what reason?
Real estate and, I'm looking for a bus driver.
Real estate and litigation.
I gotta wait till I'm 70, so I don't have to pay for
Okay,
my license.
Alderwoman Todd.
Yes.
Are you coming to see
Alderman
me?
Couch.
Yes.
Alderman Stevens.
I know, I'm gonna go to that.